Alright, well, it's June. Sorry about that. It's June 17th, Wednesday, and it's the question of the week. Every week, in case you haven't noticed, I put out a new question. Last week's question was, what rematch would you most like to see? And for the most part, they're all... one, two... Okay, two of them are relatively new, and three of them happened a little while ago, and we would like to see that. I'll start out with the one that came in third. There was a tie for third. There was five people on each one said they wanted to see the Hopkins-Jones fight, and that was 951 Thompson, John 6 times, Dragon Style 619, SP the King, and D2 Spencer. They were like, hey, you know, I'd love to see a Hopkins-Jones, and I'm in total agreement with that. And before I get too far into it, let me just say, all the fights that were asked, you know, that people wanted to see a rematch of, definitely had that, except for the ones that were joking about wanting to see a Pacquiao-Hatton fight again. Now, I don't know why you guys are so sadistic and would want to see somebody suffer that immense punishment again, but I guess you'll have that. The next one was Foreman Ali 2. Matter Mexican, 951 Thompson, who had a lot of them. Dragon Style 619 again. GAWS Gauze 1 through 0. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. And Radojevic. Yeah. They all wanted to see the Foreman Ali 2 fight. And I would love to see that too. I mean, there was a lot of factors going into that fight that were all against Foreman. So I would definitely... coming in second, with 6 people wanting to see it, was the Lennox Lewis-Vitaly Klitschko rematch. John J. 1234 wanted to see it. 951 Thompson, boy, yeah, you know, he seemed to hit a lot of these, a lot of people. He's got a lot of rematch problems. He probably wants to go back and do like the 4th grade again or something. You know, he's got something against his teacher or something. All these rematches. Jay Cambete, JCAMBETE, John 6 times. Taiz, TIIEIZ, and Lionel Hutzer wanted to see the Lennox Lewis-Vitaly Klitschko fight. I mean, Vitaly was winning that fight. I mean, of course, his face looked like he got put through a meat grinder, like someone was beating him with a ball-peen hammer for half an hour. But I mean, aside from that, you know, he was doing pretty good in that fight. There was a tie for first with 8 people, each wanting to see these fights there. And the first one was the Juan Manuel Marquez against Manny Pacquiao. That was John 6 times. C001 Pepper, I call him Cool Pepper. Will Million. D2 Spencer, CFH Pantera, AUS, Australia. Natalie Holt, and Sean 5481, and Kimul. All wanted to see the Marquez-Pacquiao fight. The next one was the Cotto Margachito. Yeah, Margachito. Not the stuff you eat. You cheated, man. Was Voice for Vendetta. V4V. I like that. Yeah, I like that name. 951 Thompson. Again. The Arif 01. Cool Pepper. I had a Tom Hugh. If I'm saying these wrong, you guys can correct me. I don't mind that. I want to say your name right. Yogi Bear 4091, The Kid 2189, and High Point Lanky came through. He'd been around forever, well, with me anyway, and I always like when he actually responds to some videos I do. Klaus Oberto was one fight that had a couple people on it. Odin 422 there. Tyson Douglas, Cotto Clate, Hagler Hearns, Trinidad Oscar De La Hoya with D2 Spencer wanting to get in there and seeing a couple of those. So, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of them, but these had the most most people wanting to see him, so I felt I would go with the top 5 on that. Okay, question of the week 3. This was brought up by Southern Sniper 74, one of my buddies from Sato Boxing, and if you haven't checked out that, you really need to www.satoboxing.com. Check it out. And you know, there's a ton of boxing information on there, training, the works. But if you go there, you might not go to me that much, so maybe you shouldn't go there. Keep me busy, right? Keep the wife mad and me busy. That's good. Like I said, Southern Sniper 74 brought it up. He's good friends with Tommy Morrison, and you know, he's like, what fighter left the most on the table? What I mean by that is the fighter with the most talent that didn't live up to expectations. What fighter didn't live up to expectations? Who? Tommy Morrison, we were talking about. He could be a champ today, but I stole this from him. I guess I'm giving him credit, so I'm not really stealing it. But he was like, Tommy Morrison would rather hit he'd rather sleep with women than hit the heavy bag. He'd rather hit instead of hitting the heavy bag. And man, I laughed for at least a half a minute for that. I mean, that was funny stuff. So, who had the biggest waist? I mean, Tommy Morrison definitely left a ton on the table. Is there anybody out there that you can think of that you're like, man, I can't believe that guy did that? Like, who did something really dumb and like wound up in jail for a long time, or who, you know, got in a really bad car accident, or anything that would make them cut their career shorter than it should have been. Okay? So we'll see how that goes. These seem to be going pretty good. You know, you guys are coming on there and keeping up with it. So, there you go. What fighter left the most on the table? Who failed to live up to expectations? I don't even know what the title I'm actually going to put that is. Alright, well, this is Bigragu. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out.